This morning, new questions are swirling around the state of Bill and Melinda Gates' marriage, leading up to last week's divorce announcement. The Wall Street Journal reporting Melinda began talking to divorce attorneys roughly 2 years before the filing. The paper citing people familiar with the matter and documents it reviewed. NBC has not yet independently seen or verified those documents. Last week, the multi-billionaires announced in a joint statement they were ending their 25-year marriage because we no longer believe we can grow together as a couple in this next phase of our lives. The Journal citing several people reporting that one source of concern for Melinda, a global advocate for women and girls, was Bill's dealings with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
I've been telling you for ages, he's a wrong'un. He's a wrong'un, and she's not exactly given the impression that she's divorcing him because she's shocked or disgusted about him hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein for 8 years. She deals with, she's heavily involved with dealing with vulnerable women and young girls. But what do I know? It's just a theory. I hope we haven't got another Ghislaine Maxwell on our hands.
According to documents obtained by the Journal, Melinda and her advisors held a number of calls with divorce lawyers in October 2019.
Feels like there's something bigger brewing underneath all this. Bill and Melinda Gates have been married for 25 years. She deals with vulnerable women and girls. He's been involved with a paedophile for 8 years, but she doesn't want to divorce him until it gets revealed by the national press.
The same month, the New York Times first reported that Bill met with Epstein on numerous occasions, starting in 2011, after Epstein had served time for soliciting prostitution.
I'm curious now, with hindsight, since those stories came out, what you think the lesson of that was, and when you think about that as an experience and this credentializing idea.
Well, definitely, any people with a reputation spending time with him probably gave him an undeserved sense of, being back in the mainstream or not being a pariah. And so my doing that was a mistake. As I go about trying to raise money for global health, which, every extra $1,000 we raise for that cause saves one life. And so we are extremely resource limited. We can buy more bed nets, we can buy more vaccines. In that case, I made a mistaken judgment that I thought that those discussions would lead literally to billions of dollars going to global health. Turned out that was a bad judgment. That was a mirage. None of that money ever appeared. And I gave him some benefit by the association. So I made a doubly wrong mistake there. In general, when we have something like the Giving Pledge, it is tricky when, somebody wants to sign up and you're like, well, but your fortune is really a questionable fortune. There's some countries that we just haven't done any recruiting in at all because we're not, in a position to really make those judgments.
Because you look and you see the corruption.
Yes, that it may have been derived improperly.
The Times reporting one stay at Epstein's Manhattan townhouse lasted late into the night, according to more than a dozen people familiar with the relationship.
BG, known for womanizing naked pool parties, biographer says. This is according to them, right? It says, behind his image as a straight-laced tech mogul, BG was notorious for throwing pool parties with swimmers and being a, quote, womanizer. It says, even after meeting future wife Melinda, according to a biography. Now, a lot of people have been pointing out that maybe the split was because something was about to come out very big on Bill's end. So say they knew that he was going to get taken down. Maybe him and his spouse are actually fine, but they did that to try to save half of their finances. Think about this. I just wonder, and who knows if this is going to be the case. What if all these women come forward and end up suing him? What if he ends up getting canceled? Who knows? It sounds like it is heading that direction. It sounds like there's a lot of information coming out. It says the Microsoft co-founder's wild lifestyle was well known among his inner circle, but newspapers like the New York Times had the unflattering reports to continue getting, quote, spoon-fed stories. James Wallace wrote in the 1997 biography, it says that they didn't report on the wild bachelor parties that Microsoft's boyish chairman would throw in his Seattle home, for which Gates would visit one of Seattle's all-nude nightclubs and hire dancers to come to his home and swim naked with his friends in his indoor pool. He had walls, when you would walk in the room, it would change colors. You know, his house was something that any tech person on YouTube was like, you know, anybody knew about all the crazy stuff that was in his house. So it just crazy, because I think about it when I was younger, hearing about Bill Gates, and the reputation was that he actually drove around the city in like a piece of crap car. That at that point he was multi-millionaire. I don't know if he was a billionaire at that point. He's probably been a billionaire for forever, right? And what I heard is he was more like this weirdo that would drive around in a regular car. So it totally makes way more sense than this whole hero thing where he's going to multiple countries and he cares about the people. Now I think we're going to see the truth.